So did you know that your AC unit or heat pump could be using up to 40 to 50% more energy if you're not doing these 4 basic maintenance items that just about any homeowner can take care of? They're not very expensive and they don't take a whole lot of time to do. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what those 4 maintenance items are. I'm going to go over exactly what they are, how to take care of them. And by doing this, we're going to make sure that our units are running as efficiently as possible. So when that summer heat comes along, it's using a lot less electricity. It's not running as long, therefore wearing out parts faster and then resulting in costly repairs. So let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so we're out here at my condenser for my AC unit. And the first thing that we're going to cover comes down to this right down here. This is where your suction line is. So you're gonna have 2 lines going into the house or coming out of it, however you wanna look at it. And those 2 lines have different jobs. You're gonna have one that's much larger in diameter, and then you're gonna have one that's thinner like that one there. The bigger one, which you can't see on mine right now because I have it covered with this to help protect the insulation, is called the suction line. And that is bringing the gases back into the unit, and it is very cold, or at least it should be. Well, one thing that a lot of homeowners don't realize, and I've come to find out that a decent amount of HVAC people don't fully understand either, is there should be insulation on that suction line. Pretty much anytime you have a new house, you're gonna notice that there's insulation on that suction line. Well, inside that insulation has 2 jobs. First of all, putting insulation around the pipe because it's so cold, when it mixes with the ambient air, it can cause condensation. And you definitely don't want condensation in your home, especially if your lines are up top or up in the attic. You can have leaks, it's gonna cause water damage. So that's one very important thing for the insulation inside. The second one applies to not only inside, but also outside. And that is by maintaining the temperature of that suction line. And in this case, you want to make sure that it stays cold so that when it comes back into the condenser and it goes into the compressor, that compressor is able to work easier. The warmer the suction line is, or the gases that are returning, the harder the compressor works. Therefore, it's working less efficiently. Now, are we talking about a massive amount in efficiency change, or just dramatically right off the bat reducing the electric bill by a lot? No, not necessarily. But if you do not have insulation on your suction line, therefore maintaining the cool temperature of that line, it has been found that it can reduce efficiency by 3% up to possibly 10% reduction in efficiency. Now, while that might not sound like a lot, it does add up over time, which equals dollars. It also equals your unit having to work harder. And the harder it has to work, the quicker things start to fail. And then that also equals dollars. But anyways, how do we fix this? Well, in this case, I've already got this on here, but I'll show you on screen now a brief process of how you go about taking that insulation off. Typically what you want to do is any insulation that is remaining, I just take a knife and just cut it off of that suction line very carefully. So I want to be very careful not to cut that. I also just want to be careful not to nick up anything. And so then I just take all of the insulation off. Then I just take some very basic line set insulation. You can pick these up either online or you can find them in your local home improvement stores. You want to make sure that you get the proper size for your lines. So you'll want to measure those diameters before you go to the store to pick them up. In my case, I'm using 3/4 inch insulation. You want to make sure that you are getting the proper insulation. It's going to be more of a rubber and not quite as much feeling like a foam. It's going to have the foam inside, but the outer jacket is going to feel much more like a rubber. Then I just place that over my suction line, and then I'll just wrap it with some line set tape, which is UV resistant. And I do this in about 3 to 4 places to make sure that my insulation stays in place and nice and tight to the line. And then at that point, once that insulation is installed and I have some tape wrapping around it to keep it in place, you can go up to where the lines are going into the home and you can caulk around where they're entering into the house. That's just going to help to keep moisture out, make it more weather resistant, keep critters out, and aesthetically is just going to make it look better. But again, what you see here is also an option. They are not very inexpensive, I will tell you that up front, but I do like that it has the UV cover, which you can buy those separately to help protect that insulation, so you're not having to do this again fairly soon. But if you also want to make everything else look clean up at the house, again, this is the Airex Titan outlet with UV cover, and that is certainly an option should you choose that it's worth it to you. All right, so next on our list of things that you want to make sure that you're maintaining and are in good condition is, again, on this condenser. We're going to come in here a little bit closer so you can take a look at exactly what I'm talking about. And that next item comes down to your fins that are going over the coils on your condenser. Now, luckily for me, for the most part, my fins are in very good condition. This is about the worst damage that are on my fins, which really aren't doing anything negative to the unit. But I have seen plenty of instances where people's units, the fins, you'll see where it's just like flat. You'll just see metal that's just folded down. It's gonna be shiny. You're not gonna be able to see through it. You're not gonna have those gaps in between. And if you have a lot of that going on, it's going on all over the unit, then it is absolutely going to have an effect on the efficiency of your unit. It can have an efficiency drop of up to 10 to 25%, just depending on the amount of damage that's done. And the reason why this is important, if those are bent down and they don't have those gaps in between, those fins have those gaps so that air can be pulled into this condenser to help cool those coils. Those coils have the heat from your home that need to be released into the air. And if they're not getting enough airflow to help cool them and blow that hot air out of the top, then they can't pull enough heat out to make it run as efficiently as possible. They can be fixed very easily by using a very inexpensive tool that looks like this. This is called a fin comb, and a lot of times you can get these for around 10 bucks online and is very easy to use. Now, one thing that does make this a little bit more difficult is, again, we have this protective grate on here. So the best thing to do is you're gonna have to remove all the screws that are connected to this grate. The lid's gonna have to come off a lot of the times. And then once all the screws are removed from this, this can be pulled out of the way. And the way that this works is this is basically like a comb. You have a bunch of individual metal strands that are all together that can be spread out. Now, my unit doesn't really have a whole lot of damage on it in order to demonstrate this, but I'm gonna show you really quickly on a window unit that I have where this can also work as well, and it's gonna be the exact same principle that we would use on our condenser for our home. All right, so as you can see here are the fins that are going over the coils for a window unit that's going into my garage. The one place I have damage is up here in this top corner. As you can see, those fins are folded down. So I'm just gonna start at the top. My damage is here. I'm just gonna start up here at the top. I'm just gonna slowly and very carefully try to work that comb in between those fins and just very slowly pull it down. Now, it's not just gonna fix it on the first try. It's gonna take some repetitive combing to reshape those fins. Now, if you have very fine fins like we have right here, sometimes I'll just take the upper layer of combs on my tool and just bend them up. So it makes it a little bit easier for those comb teeth to get into those gaps. And so just as easily as that, by using this very inexpensive tool, while you're never going to get it perfect, because once you bend that very light metal or aluminum, it's almost impossible to get them perfectly straight like they came from factory. But while the goal is to make them as close to perfect as possible, the main point is to get them open again so the air is being able to be pulled in to go over those coils, help cool them down, and expel that heat. All right, so next up on our list of items that can cause higher electric bills and decreased efficiency, and this is a really big one, experts say that dirty condenser coils can actually cut your AC's efficiency by 20 to 40%. I personally clean my unit using a coil cleaner every year. The first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I turn off the power to my AC unit, so while I'm working on this, it doesn't turn on, cause any damage, or possibly cause me harm. I can do that very easily by removing the disconnect or turning off any circuit breakers going to the AC unit. But the steps that I take in order to do this are there are screws going all along the top part of my lid. I take those screws out, I lift my lid up, I prop it somewhere where it's not gonna fall back down, and then I will take a coil cleaner, which in my case, I highly recommend Frost King. The Frost King brand is one of the best brands as far as HVAC goes, especially I can vouch for their coil cleaners. I've been using them for quite a while. They'll even have a brush on top. But I'll take that coil cleaner then, and on the outside of the unit, I'll go side to side, working my way from top to bottom all the way around my condenser. Then once I have all that foam on the outside of my condenser, I like to go to the inside as well and do the same thing. And the reason I like to do that is I want to make sure not only is it a thorough cleaning, but a lot of your units have 2 rows of coils. And if you just put it on the outside row, the inside row doesn't get clean. And while you will improve the efficiency by cleaning the outside row, you won't get it as clean as it could be or running as efficiently as possible unless that second row is cleaned as well. So I do not recommend using a jet setting or anything like that because you can damage those fins that we talked about a little bit earlier if the pressure is too high. That brings me to another point. Don't ever use a pressure washer when doing this because you are definitely going to run a very high risk of damaging those fins and then lowering your efficiency. So I just like to take a garden hose and your standard nozzle, put it on the shower setting, has enough pressure to knock everything down, rinse it down really nice and gentle, and I'll do that on the outside all the way around and then all the way on the inside. I want to make sure that I get all that excess coil cleaner and residue off of my coils, because while a lot of these coil cleaners are safe and they'll even say you can leave them on the coils, I personally just like to make sure there's no residue and just get them completely clean. Then after all that's done, the coils are clean, I can put my lid back on the top, line up all my holes with that protective grate and all the screw holes, put all my screws back in, and then once my lid is secured, I can turn my unit back on, and now my unit is going to be running as efficiently as possible. It's going to be saving me as much money as possible, and also probably one of the biggest things, I'm extending the life of my condenser by doing this. If you just completely neglect doing this, you are going to shorten the life of your AC unit. All right, so this next and last item of things that can be killing your AC unit and spiking your energy bill comes down to your air filter. And I know a lot of people know a little bit about these, but a lot of people don't realize not only the effects of the ones that you choose, but how often you are changing them out. Some people don't even know that they should be changing them out. So when it comes down to the frequency of how long you should be changing these filters out, a lot of them will tell you up to 3 months. I'm here to tell you it completely depends on your situation, how dirty your home is, where your unit is located. It can suck in more air, especially if it's down at ground level. If it's up in the attic, a lot of times you can get away with, I've gone 5 to 6 months before without having to change out my filter during certain parts of the year. This one I left in there for, I believe this was 7 or 8 months, so it could get to this point, and this is way, way too long. This is restricting the airflow that's going through it. And I found for me personally, in my case, I need to be changing out my filter about every 4 to 5 months just to make sure it's as clean as possible and allowing that air to fully flow through it. You might need to do some experimentation on your own, put a new filter in. After a month, go check it. If it still looks fairly clean, it can go for probably another month. And then another month goes by, check it again, and you just kind of rinse and repeat. And it's just better to replace it sooner than later because, again, all the things that it can cause as far as higher energy bills, wear and tear on your unit, which mean expensive repair costs. Air filters, while not super inexpensive, especially if you're having to change them out on a monthly basis, are still relatively inexpensive in comparison with those other things. The other big thing that a lot of people, I won't say just get wrong, a lot of times it's gonna depend on your particular system, but one thing that a lot of people do is because they have allergies or smoke in the air where they live, is they will go out to their local stores and they will try to find the highest efficiency rated or MERV rating, the highest MERV rating they can in order to filter out all of those things. Allergens, viruses, smoke, really fine particulates. And while all that sounds good and everything, the reason that these are filtering out all those smaller microns of substances or organic matter is because it's gonna have thicker media, and that's how it's collecting all of those extra things. Well, when you have a higher MERV rated filter, again, it's more restrictive. If your unit is not made to use a high MERV rated filter, I believe this is a MERV 13, then you may have those restriction issues right off the bat. You might find your unit is freezing up, your electric bill is higher once you put that filter in, because again, it's more restrictive. It's not allowing that airflow to go through it, especially when we're talking about 1-inch filters. If you have a 4-inch box for your unit, you can get away with using these higher MERV rated filters. And I'm not just talking about Filtrete. Filtrete's a great brand and they make all different types and MERV ratings that you can pick from. This applies to any brand. It's I'm talking about the efficiency rating of those filters. But something to really pay attention to is because it is more restrictive and catching all those extra particulates, they fill up a little bit faster, and you really want to be paying attention to. While this might say every up to 3 months replacing it, I would probably be more so looking at probably every month. But again, just do some tests and see how long it takes before it starts getting dirty. So that's why I really personally recommend, if you're looking for something that you're trying to treat allergies with, I've got 3 air purifiers in my home. I place them below the intakes or the returns for my AC unit, so it's helping to spread that clean air throughout the home. Those are gonna have HEPA filters, charcoal filters. They're gonna remove all those VOCs. I am not a believer in using your air filter for your air handler and air conditioner to filter out all of that in your air, to make it an air purifier. That's really not what these air filters should be made for or originally were made for. Again, in my opinion, I personally use a MERV 8 filter in my unit. It's a nice combination of where it's gonna filter out some of those allergens, some of those smaller particulates. It's gonna filter out, of course, all the larger things as well, but then that's where then the air purifiers are gonna remove the rest. So in my opinion, that is the best combination, because that MERV 5 through 8, 9, or even I would say at most 10, the higher you get, more restrictive. It's gonna reduce the airflow slightly more. It's gonna fill up faster, but that's where it's gonna make making filter changes incredibly important to make sure that your filter is clean. Now, really quickly before you go, something I just really quickly want to touch on is, while we went over some of the most basic things and things really everybody should be trying to take care of on their AC units to make sure that they are running as efficiently as possible so it's less expensive and the unit lasts as long as possible, some of those items that I went over in this video, while I went over the most important steps in order to carry out those tasks, I've done some videos in the past on them that are a deeper dive, kind of give you more information to not only understand more of what you should be doing, some other steps to make it just that much better, but also the why. Why are we doing these things, and what kind of a cause and effect are we having by completing them? If those would be of interest to you and you'd like to learn more about them, for instance, as far as the coil cleaning goes, that's probably a big one where you might want to look a little bit more into it. There's some added steps that are just going to make it that much better, along with the insulation on the suction line. Then I'm going to post those 2 videos right over here. Whichever one of those 2 interests you the most, all you have to do is click on it and it will take you directly to that video. But I hope that you found value in this video, and if you did, if you could do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button right down below. And of course, if you have any questions or comments still, you can leave those down in the comment section. And I'll catch you all in the next one. See ya.